Here we go. Yet another video during full moon. I'm not sure if it was 1 month back where I did the first video, which I published on Facebook, and right now I'm thinking of doing the whole page of Positteam in and of itself. That is easy to like, which doesn't need a lot of effort to do, to spread the word and all the goodness that comes from it. But right now I kind of want to do a rant, because that's what I've been doing in my room for quite some time, just talking to myself, ranting about one thing that I just feel so strongly about, what's not happening right now. So there are a few people that, still wondering what happened to the game jam. I mentioned it on the previous video and I said, well, it's a big day. I'm gonna meet game developers, which I never had a chance to do before, but it didn't turn out as I expected. I actually made a big mistake. I'll be explaining this in greater detail in another video that is gonna come out soon enough, whenever I feel, ready for this. But right now I'm ready to rant about something. Okay, I'm not sure if I mentioned or you heard me mentioning about Stefan Molyneux. Alright? So I have decided, even you can find videos of me deciding, well, I'm gonna bash against him, basically give arguments where he's wrong and he's not doing the right thing or anything, criticism, basic criticism. That's what he accepts to go in the front line of his show, to call in and just, tell him your criticism. We'll see if that's the case, because I heard people also saying that that's not the case, that he selects criticism that he wants to put out to the show. Maybe the criticism which is not strong enough to repel or to show how wrong he is in some ways. So I'm not sure whether he's gonna select or not select. I'm gonna post a message under his video saying that I want to call into the show. I want to talk with him. I do put him in some very important position for me, because he talks about philosophy. I really think that it's more of a logic, and logic in and of itself, it's a easy word to understand. Once you just ask yourself, what is logic, what is logical, all these questions, once you understand that, it's easy to understand the rest and why it's so important to have logic. And it's more important to have logic rather than learning philosophy, I think. But it's not the point. It's not a point. It's one of the many points where someone could be better. Yet with his community, with his audience, tell you what, the opinion that come out from his community about him is just, it's ridiculous. The stuff that floats around the internet, it's ridiculous. But I start to understand what's the point of all this, and it's all because people are not taking logic at the right time of their lives. He started with logic very early in life, and he's now successful he was, poor when, in early life he was working a lot to make up for, to survive basically. So all of this led for him to have knowledge, to have logic, and he's able to do this show where he, spreads this knowledge around. Though I feel that his community has a little bit more destructive environment than it would seem from the, outside. It would seem like, well, there's reason and evidence was what can go wrong, but there's probably a lot of stuff that goes wrong because, as I mentioned before, there's a concept that I have made over my videos of a red pill concept. You take the red pill, you suddenly have logic in your life, and you see how wrong your life was. That is very destructive thing, to open your eyes and realize, whoa, shit's going down. The way that I did it is I was, rejected, and I had nothing else better to do rather than to apply myself some knowledge and logic and just, move on my own, because I was rejected from everywhere else simply because, I was somewhat antisocial. I'm not sure, even though, I should have analyzed it so much better, but I'm still not sure what's wrong, right? But, once this solidifies, it doesn't change. Once there are people considered to be the center of social interactions, who are, always interacting with others, and there are people who are not speaking with anyone, just like I did at school, and it, it's solidified. It's hard to change, and I felt this pressure. I can't change this. Like, I just can't do it. If I do something controversial as something just as controversial as this video, people will tend to shut up. People like, this didn't happen, right? They're gonna lie to themselves because they're conditioned to be children. They don't want logic. It destroys their lives because the system is automatically, against logic. At school, you want logic? Well, you're gonna be the most hated person at school if you're gonna seek for logic. You want explanation? Why? Well, first of all, school is based on a simple, repetitive tasks. And I think I heard a person said to shut up. Wow. That just gave me a lot of, holy shit, reality into my head. See what's happening right now? Logic. I want to speak out to the people. I want to do things like this. And there are people who just want to live their lives. They want to take the red pill, because if they do that, then they, as I said, they're cliffhangers. They will realize how wrong everything is. How much shit have they done. And they will just fall apart because there is no community to fall into. There's no, arms sketched around and just fall in, we're gonna catch you. That's not where I fell. And I'm glad I did that early on, because holy shit, it's empty out here. I was starving, real stuff. Last year it was crazy, awful for me, but I survived. And I couldn't survive if I have done it a little bit later. If I would be, around social interactions, would be more accepted. Oh man, I'm glad I'm not. And now this is a big moment for me, I want to talk with a person who basically lived a similar life and, has this experience that I have right now, going through shit, adding logic to his life, and, being rejected. It's plain and simple, what makes you so great is simply being poor and understanding that there are certain things that hold a lot of value. Oh, man. It's and what he is trying to do is like giving everyone a red pill, and that's the reason why it's so negative around him. There's so much negativity that surrounds him in the internet. I can find a lot of shit against him. Oh man, almost like 70% I think is negative videos made around about him. Everything else is neutral, I would say. It's scary. It is fucking scary. And it's scaring others. It's saying like, red pill, it's scary shit. Of course, in the essence, it looks still good, but, other people's opinion really matter a lot. So when someone says, well, this guy does this and this wrong, then you have to support both opinions, both the guy who does it or the guy who says that he does something wrong, and you cannot really support 100% neither of the side anymore. And the basic thing that Stefan Molyneux does is hands out the red pill. He says, well, I'm not going to say what you have to do, you have to find logic by yourself, but it's very, very some people will take the red pill and they just gonna fuck it up. Their life is gonna be in ruins. They have to cocoon themselves from the rest of the world. First, understand all the mistakes they've done, evaluate all the experiences that they have had. It's a long process. It takes 9 years to establish logic. 9 years. That's what I estimate, that's what I propose. I would say from 10 to 19 years, that's the period that you have to start, learning about logic. If you're more than 19 years old, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna have a lot of problems. I went through this. I almost went through the wrecking ball right past me. It could have killed me easily, but I did it at the right time, and I feel, well, this is cool. This was destiny. That's what I worship, destiny. And the way that I worship, I do things, and things get better. Actually, I feel so good right now, so good. These past few days, even though, after some unsuccessful stuff happening, but I feel so awesome. And now I feel it could be, up and down, every single month I feel good and make a video and I post it on Facebook and then feel bad because nobody's actually watching and liking, really. Only a few people. Oh, congratulations, you liked my video. Can I get like 10,000 likes? No, that would be scary though. But that would be exciting as well. Every fear can be made turn into excitement because fear is just, a tool. Huh? No? There's one thing that I wrote on a board. If you imagine a school, there's a board where you write things. So, in my dream, I wrote, "Evil is a lie." To a teacher, which I can't couldn't stand. Like, what the fuck? Why a dream put me in a school? Why do I have to be there? And I just couldn't stand. I say, well, I'm gonna explain you something. And I put down Evil is a Lie. I wake up because who wants to listen to me? Not even a dream will let me speak. You can hear, my neighbor screaming, shut the fuck up. See? Red pill is not very popular these days. I have a substitute. How about an apple? An apple of knowledge of good and evil. That's what Adam and Eve took, and that's why they were, punished by God. Do you want to take the apple? I guess not, because you're gonna be punished by God. Holy shit. You start a humanity with an action that nobody will take afterwards in order to sustain humanity. Such a paradox. Man, this shit is full of paradoxes. How would turn out that all across the history we just are bound to be slaves. Still to this day we are freaking slaves. And we just can't break through the wall of spells. Man, I loved the analogy that Stefan Molyneux recently put out about magicians and warriors. But that was like, whoa, that blew my mind, I love hearing some metaphors. And the way that he put stuff, mages are in control of this world. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, listen, wars is just, short events. People, fight, whatever. But the real power is being held in the word, in the language, in the freaking, sound. Like a dictator. You know how much power a dictator has? Destroys countries if he wants to. Using warriors, using his words. He can do anything. Isn't that a mage? Isn't that a spellcaster? Just using his words, I'm gonna cast your spell, just saying a few words and here you go, borders. Here you go, a country with a name and a border that now exists, which we're not supposed to, but I have taken over this land because I'm a mage and I can say whatever I want. And I can establish a system that will, will take profit from the future and give to the old people, to the old mages, And there's additional analogy that, young warriors tend to be stronger as they're young and tend to get weaker as they get old. But as mages get old, they are getting stronger and stronger. They're just getting more spells and more, combinations and more knowledge. The best mage is the oldest one, isn't it? And that is the rulers of this world. Those freaking mages, with those freaking words and rules which we have to obey. But now I thought to myself, why do we need to change it? Because we need those warriors. We need warriors to collect those warriors and put a punch to this skull and bones, There's no meat, there's no nothing in this stupid mage. We go through the barriers of the rules that don't exist and we just kick their asses. That's all that we now have to do to change it for the better. Not to have a war. Just come and just take away the power from the stupid mages and reset the system the way that we want. Is it so hard? But yes, of course it's hard, because we cannot collect ourselves. There is no logic. happening in society. No one wants to be a part of a community because there's no community that sustains itself around the logic. Okay, that was a lot of random words, but let's try to make a point here. So yeah, I want warriors. I want to inspire an army. It doesn't have to be, realistic in any way. I mean, I'm not playing a game here, but seriously, there has to be a community, and the only way to stop, the system or taking down the government is simply by rejecting it. We collect a society, we reject the government, we reject the rules of those stupid old mages that, have taken over. And it still sounds silly that, mages, government, what are they doing? Just, signing words, signing some kind of scrolls, passing on to each other, talking, dictating what we have to do. Isn't that magic? There's no force binding us right now. Only our minds are confused by all this bullshit. We are free, we are supposed to be free, but no, we're not. There's so many magical spells already cast. We can dispel them, but we can't do it over time. We can become best mages of all time and, be individuals as we will try to, in our community to dispel singular spells. But the real force comes from warriors coming together, going through invisible those shitty walls that we can break down. No singular warrior can do that either, because they're so freaking strong. But we can do it as a collective group. Now, what those walls are, what are those restrictions, of course, more specific, we have to collect a community and thought this through, okay? But that's what I'm talking about. The community has to rise. I don't want to be the one leading anything. I just have this idea. Don't put me into the front lines. But I'm going there if I have to. Okay, if there's nobody else. But if once I move forward and somebody's following me, I'm gonna move all the way. If I have any faith that I can go and reach the result that I want, which is simply making stuff more logic based, which right now is so destructive, so inconsistent in some cases, because there's inequality, so there's inconsistency in certain places, right? Yeah, some places, have different rules and profit from those rules, and it's like, yeah, you make up magic that will profit you. So awesome, right? We have to take that back. In games, warriors should beat mages, I think. Is that no? Okay, rogues can beat mages. Rogues, assassins. That's what I think, It's like rock, paper, scissors, in my opinion. I mean, it's all just a metaphor. But usually in metaphors I can find a lot of knowledge can be extracted in metaphors. A lot of it. And these silly analogies, but they are memorable. That's the crazy point. Maybe there are the third group of assassins that can assassinate mages, because warriors cannot go through walls. So maybe that's the group that we have to create. I'm not talking about actual assassination, but maybe there's no other way. Who knows what the solution is? I don't have a group to discuss about it, so I'm just gonna, put up radical ideas right now. They're not polished. They're, just flint and steel, and nothing's polished. But that's what makes fire happen. Alright? If I can make fire happen, I don't care how my tools look like. I just need a result, and I need it now. I see how wrong it is, the way the society works right now, and it sucks. I believe this should be the end, but this is just the start for a long run of a lot of bullshit that I'm gonna be going through. A lot of intense moments. Maybe I'll be able to gather a team. Maybe not. Who knows what the future holds. But my ideas will stay the same, perhaps. Is there any way that it would change? That my ideas would change? I have produced these ideas naturally, okay? Everything that you see is human nature right here. I would sit here and just program my game. But no. There's so much shit going on that I can't just program a game. I can't just make art. There are people suffering, there are people who are slaves because they have to work, even though they don't really have to work. Everything can be replaced by robots completely. We can get even food from robots. We would be, living luxury lives, supported by technology, 100%. Why not? Why not now? It happens. What's the problem? And the problem is very simple. There are mages that just wants the benefits, and not enough rogues that assassinate those mages and replace them with better ones. This, we're stuck at refreshing the system. So now, stuff has to happen, and the longer we wait, the harder it gets to take the red pill. The longer you have to fall down. And I'm just saying, we need a community down there to catch guys. Like, watch these videos about 9/11, how people are falling down. Do you want to fall down the same way, Just, working in a big high tower, but, boom, plane crashes and you have to fall down now. What you gonna do? You're gonna die. Okay, you fall down, you die. There's nobody to catch you. From 200 meters. Who's gonna catch you that high? Nobody. It's impossible. Unless we do have a big team already knowing what's gonna happen and catching these guys. It could have been, saving lives if we knew all these things. But we didn't. We were not prepared. We didn't have the community. Even though there were a lot of clues of what was supposed to happen then. That's right. This is the first step towards the solution. Is the community. Is the ability to collect group of people together. And the way that Stefan Molyneux does is a little bit destructive. And again, when I see the videos that I see on YouTube, opinions about him and his cult it's a cult, right? It calls a cult. Everyone calls it a cult. You can't run away from words. You cannot say it's not a cult. If a lot of people says it's a cult, you have to admit what they say. Even if it's not right. Even if everyone says Earth is flat, you have to admit there's something wrong. Okay, there's something wrong going on. At least that you have to admit. But you're not gonna go around and say, well, Earth is not flat. Even if you have the evidence, you have to approach it a little bit differently if you don't want to get killed. But of course, this, again, I don't think this flat Earth have existed for more than 2,000 years, counting from the Jesus birth. I don't think even I mean, I guess I have heard more information that this was actually created after Middle Ages. This idea that the Earth is flat, and before that it was not the idea that the Earth is flat. Anyways, this is a really long video. Holy shit, right? But I hope it's worth it. And I really find value talking with you. But it's all about what's gonna happen next. What you're gonna do is the real question. Because that's how much I can output. That's as much as you can output if you put a will into it. But again, you have to take the red pill if you want to make anything. If you want to make anything and not be a warrior and become a rogue. That's why mages don't like the development of the system. System blocks rogues from being developed, right? Rogues who think for themselves, don't think for anyone else. Don't support the system. These people are not being developed and are being blocked. So here we go. We have to do that. We have to take back what is natural for human nature, is to clean up itself. Simply by not letting mages take over with their spells. Anyways, yeah. I'll just gonna, just waste a little bit of more time just sighing how awful all of this is and admitting. And it's really hard for people to admit, right? I really know how it feels like, and I don't want to, say, admit you're wrong, like Alex Jones says, well, admit. You're just shoving up a red pill in your ass and hoping that you'll get better, but that's not how it works. Again, you won't make a flat round, Earth round, simply by saying it's not flat. It's a slow process of making the truth happen, but we can take out the magic. We can reset the system easily. That's easy to do, right? Resetting the system, easy. Bringing it down and leaving some, knowledge. Knowledge leaves. Scrolls don't burn once the cities, burn down. Scrolls are left behind. Knowledge is still remaining. Usually, right? I can go into a lot of shit right now. I should end the video right now and stop wasting your time. Let you think about it. And the best time to think about it is probably nighttime. Yeah, like I woke up early and I have to bash Stefan Molyneux. There's so much wrong about him, and the more I thought about it, the more wrong I collected. And I feel strongly about, I have to criticize him now. I have to put myself out there and say, well, I think this idea is better. And you're doing a bad job at making effective move, because, oh man, it's gonna go down pretty soon, I guess. I'm not sure how yet. There's a lot of stuff to take into account to predict the future. I just don't have, I didn't put time to make any predictions. I don't like that shit. If I would start making predictions, everyone would get scared off much faster than just saying, well, you have to take the red pill. Maybe some people won't get scared on that, but once you start predicting the future, what would happen if you won't, well, that will scare off a lot more people. Saying, well, okay, it's good now, so I'll just gonna live as much as possible. Because, you don't want to know what's gonna happen next when you don't have logic established already. When you have logic, you want to know, because you want to make a world a better place. That's all it takes to become a rogue. You only need to know and seek for knowledge, and then you can go forward and make stuff happen. But again, you also have to have a team that catches you as a rogue. I had this created before as a story, a ninja war story. Who knew that I will be talking about rogues, assassins, ninjas, so-called? Well, I think I went full circle. Whatever I created has seemed to have a significant value. Significant value. Maybe I should talk for an hour now, because I have this huge idea that came into my head. I created the story about ninjas that lived in a society which were not affected by magical spells of the humankind. They were separated from the whole humanity, and I see their role right now. I see their role as someday when things go wrong, they come into play and say, we will bring the system down, we will reset everything, and we will get back to our place, wherever we came from. We will fight in order for, to make better decisions for the future, for, clean up the shit. Once things go wrong, from their little island, they charge with their magical spells that, go through every single barrier there is. Because they're smart as hell. They are ready as well. And no one sees their coming. No one is prepared. And the system resets, and everything goes to its places. And the world is even better than before. You know why? Because knowledge is still intact. And there's more technology. There's better technology to sustain life. Maybe it's gonna be peaceful now after a collapse. Maybe it's gonna be the last collapse. Who knows? Can I say it? Could it be? That's the question that I want to answer, actually, before I end up this video. Can there be the last collapse and afterwards harmony? There's nowhere to, improve for humanity except, exploring, expanding, but not really in knowledge. There's not much to do. You just, create stuff and experience things. Experience other creations. It's cool. It's a cool life. Yeah. Robots just give you food. You don't have to worry about that. This whole idea is, again, comes from Minecraft. You can make farms that produce food automatically. Why can't we do that here? What's so hard about it? Nothing. You can all do it. We're just not doing it because, well, it creates jobs to not have robots in the places where humans are working. It's a decrease of places of work, and it destroys the economy, which is just basic, magic. Scrolls that determine how the economy works is just bullshit. You have this, paper stuff that you call money. What the fuck is that? Are these more scrolls or something? How do they work? You exchange that into food? Oh, you work as a slave, you get some scrolls, you exchange them into food. Try to explain that to a fucking alien. He will laugh. He will say, well, we have robots to do that thing for us. We don't have slaves. What the fuck? You're a shitty civilization. Haven't you done the improvement of the last improvement, where robots take over all the useless work that we are putting into? Like, there's useless repetitive stuff that we're doing that can be replaced, and nothing bad would happen. Actually, it would be super awesome and would produce stuff that we actually want. Will encourage people to take the red pill because there's nothing bad. When you take the red pill, just like in Matrix, nothing changes. Neo does not realize anything bad. Like, world is evil. Who knew? Though we have cool technology, we can kick ass, right? We even have this alternate reality that it is Matrix, but cool. Nothing happens. But when you take the blue pill, you wake up and do a repetitive thing over and over again. Do you want that? You wouldn't want that, but that's what happens right now in this society. You have to wake up every single day, do same things over and over again. You have to take the blue pill in order to survive sometimes. And if you take the red pill, well, things will go boom in your life. That's what Stefan Molyneux does to his fans sometimes. And it's not his fault that his fans complain how their lives have been worsened, just worse, okay? Became worse. Simply because they, took the red pill, because they didn't took it for so long. And now they realize how wrong everything is, that they have to, defoo from all the other people. It's like, it's kind of like forced listening to these stories. Like, whoa, shit. There's something wrong, right? There's only certain people that you can actually collect to become rogues and stuff. Oh, man. So, yeah. That's the idea that came together like ninjas. Brilliant. And the question that, I say, will there be harmony only after one big collapse and you can have a harmony afterwards? There's nothing to improve on. I think that's the case. Like, unless we found out about even more energies, which I have the system of 7 energies, we only conquering like 2. If we don't take the red pill, we just have 2 energies, or 3 for the most part. There's like 10 times more life to experience if you take the red pill. There's 10 times more experience out there, which you're missing out on. You're just repeating all the same things that you like, Get drunk, I like that, right? I like that. I get drugs, well, I get addicted. I like that shit, right? Because it doesn't let me think about stuff, the real stuff. Because in this system, you're supposed to be repetitive. You're supposed to do repetitive things, and this is a destructive kind of the case of destructive stuff that you're doing. It destroys you. Being repetitive makes you kind of a robot. And when once you start, you know, applying logic to yourself and making repetitive things happen, logic is gonna punch you, saying, what the fuck, you can do this with a robot and do something else. Go do something else. Just make a robot and do something else. Go away. That's what logic would say to you. And you wouldn't like that. You'd rather get drunk and medicate yourself to just close this logic off from your head. And I understand that completely. Okay. Whew. A neighbor, but not for the reasons that I'm speaking to the camera, which kind of scared me, but I feel so awesome. The reason why I feel awesome, I think, is that I said evil is a lie. Like, all this bullshit is a lie. Like, I'm lying to myself. Again, you can do things by making good decisions rather than evil decisions, and you would get the good outcome. You would get a better outcome. As I created a silly kind of example, you want an apple, you cannot reach an apple. It's on a tree. Yeah, you're trying to reach it. Well, you can't. What's your decision? You're gonna act evil, you're gonna cut the tree down, or you're gonna construct a tool, and you're gonna take the apple with the tool. Maybe it takes the same amount of time, same amount of energy, but the result is quite different. You destroyed an apple tree, you will not get any apples in the future. Otherwise, you can make a tool which you can use every time you want an apple, and it's probably going to sustain you for the rest of your life. What do you choose? You're going to go with evil, which is definitely a lie, because a lie is something that it can be replaced with something better, with the truth, basically. Alright, I think that's the lesson that I wanted to give to you, that I wanted to give to my dream. But I guess it's even better because it's real. It won't take 1 hour anymore. 50 minutes. Enjoy the rest of 10 minutes thinking about all this stuff, because it sure is an adventure. And also think about whether do you want to join the adventure, because I have open arms. You want to take the red pill? I'll be waiting. Hopefully I can catch you, and we can do stuff together. Maybe you can grab a few valuable things from up there, because I'm still kind of scarce and stuff. Yeah, donate. Don't hate. That's what I would say. That's a great phrase that I created. That's so awesome, isn't it? Don't hate. Alright. Evil is a fucking lie. You know, I started thinking about good stuff, and I'm climbing now the mountain of happiness. Maybe I should return a little bit and catch a few guys, but I have to create a path now. I have to make a bridge that'll help me. I have to make principles that will help people understand logic and how useful it is, and that will help a lot. I have to make a tool, to catch other people. I can't just use bare hands. I have to design stuff. I have to be prepared for anything, for any amount of people either. I don't know what's gonna happen. But you decide, because you take the action, not me. I'm just trying to put up a fire. I don't know whether it's gonna attract evil or good, but I have this fire and I'm gonna fight evil because it's a lie. I know there's gonna be good people attracted to the fire as well. Cold, starving, fallen, cracked their bones, broken something, but they're gonna come and I'll support. I'll give everything I'll have, because we're here to survive, right? Thanks for watching, really. I can't wait to talk with Stefan Molyneux. I'm gonna link this video if his minion is not going to reply. Don't take it seriously, a minion. But I don't feel that he's treating people rationally. That he thought through every single angle of this red pill effect that he calls consuming philosophy or something. Let's call consuming something consumable, okay? Anyways, thanks for watching. It's a long journey, and I don't want to be a leader, but I'll definitely go first if I have to. Thanks for watching.